Welcome back inside the Now Morning Show with Tobago Thursdays, and this morning we'll be chatting a bit with the president of the Tobago Hotel and Tourism Association, who's also the general manager of the Mount Irvine Bay Resort. Mr. Alpha Lorde joins us via Zoom. Good morning, Alpha.
Good morning, good morning. How are you?
So far, so good. How are you doing this morning?
I am well, man. Can't complain.
All right. So, over the weekend, we saw the new terminal at the A&R Robinson Airport was open. Tell me how hoteliers feeling about that new airport. What does it mean for hotels in Tobago?
I think hoteliers are very positive about the airport. I think the new terminal offers a new window, a new opportunity to improve the airlift, and improve the airlift also means more traffic to the island, which redounds to the benefit of the hoteliers.
Now, you mentioned more traffic to the island, which of course is definitely welcome, but we see times like, the Easter vacation, we see when we have jazz, and sometimes the hotels get filled up. Well, are there any plans in place to boost capacity?
There is always a consideration for boosting capacity, but boosting capacity cannot just be centralized around Easter weekend or jazz.
Right.
It has a little bit of a chicken and egg situation because you want to boost capacity, yes, but you also want to have increased flights, increased airlift on a year-round basis. That boosted capacity also has a sustainable outcome.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so I think over the long term, I think I expect to see increase in airlift, which will speak to increase in arrivals. And with that, you will also see some increase in capacity from a room stock perspective, as well as a standard and quality perspective.
Alpha, when you mention the airlift, you're talking about from Trinidad to Tobago. Because I wanted to mention it from the perspective of the foreign tourists who will now be landing at this new terminal in the airport, providing for more flights.
So when I speak airlift, I'm speaking holistically. So obviously, pre-COVID, we would have had a certain amount of flights between Trinidad and Tobago, and we do not have that corresponding quantity as yet on a daily basis. So we would like to see that airlift increase between the two islands. But more importantly, I would like to see increase in airlift from an international perspective, both from the European market and the North American market.
All right, nice. So we look forward to that, and hopefully that increase. And like you say, it's a chicken and egg situation, because if you have more flights coming in, more tourists, we will definitely need more place for them to stay. Tell me something, though, Alpha, from the perspective of service quality enhancement. Are there any steps being taken or that you know of to improve the quality of service or to do anything to better the quality of service for those tourists who do come in?
Of course. So the Division of Tourism and the Tobago Tourism Agency has spent a significant amount of resources in a tourism customer service training program. The Tobago Hospitality and Tourism Institute also have instituted a number of training programs, and I know properties themselves are continuously reviewing their service standards and either sending to these institutions to get training done or doing it themselves. There's always a conversation surrounding service in Tobago, and it's a real conversation, but I know properties are taking steps to help in alleviating the service standard issues that are often discussed.
And tell me a little bit about the marketing, because we mentioned, people coming to the island, more people coming to the island. Do you know of any conversations or working with any tourism boards? Is the association working with any tourism boards at all to do that marketing push to get those more flights? Or are there any partnerships with airlines in the works, anything like that that's part of the conversation on the table?
So the marketing for Tobago as a destination is handled by the Tobago Tourism Agency, and they'd be better suited to answer the question directly. But from what we're aware of, we know they do have partners in the European and the North American market that they are working with. British Airways, who provides flight service to Tobago, also have a joint marketing agreement with them. So in the international markets, there are marketing efforts taking place. I think more can and should be done, but there are efforts taking place to brand and position Tobago in a perspective that would allow for more persons to come to the destination.
So just to make sure I'm clear, I know you mentioned that that the tourism handles that aspect of things, but are there conversations between the association and the tourism company to make sure that we have that collaborative approach so that they know how many spots are available, they know how many hotels are on board, at what quality, to be able to make sure that when they do market, we have the appropriate response on the ground?
The collaboration has definitely taken place. Just this week, we had a presentation by the agency to the members of the association on their steps to the rest of this year. So
Right.
the collaboration has taken place. We're obviously adding our voice to the conversation, demanding some more of them, but
Nice.
the collaboration, the step of the collaboration has taken place.
All right, nice to hear that. One of the hot topics these days is definitely sustainability. And are there any steps in place or any measures in place to make sure that when we do have this influx of tourists, that we make sure it still remains sustainable and environmentally friendly?
So sustainable and environmentally friendly. Two things that I think Tobago has always kind of taken very seriously in not wanting to be to lose the identity and the authenticity of Tobago. So there are some steps from an international standard perspective. Tobago has blue flag for the beaches. They have green key for the hotels, of which some hotels have already subscribed and attained their green key certification. And then you have properties that are and individual operators who are also doing their own thing based on international standards that they're seeking to have for their venture to make sure that that their product remains sustainable. So there are steps being taken. I know persons will always advocate for more to be done, but from a association level, or I should say a more holistic level, the Green Key program for hotels, the Blue Flag program for beaches, and some of the watercraft tour operators are being subscribed by the members.
Nice. I'm happy to hear that. Tell me a little bit about how do you think the economic impact of the airport will affect the island of Tobago when it comes to employment, when it comes to business opportunities. How do you see the airport impacting the island?
Well, this all goes right back to the airlift and the amount of persons who are traversing that airport in and out on a daily basis. Once we can achieve that on a sustainable level, then the economic impact is significant because you now have an airport that is designed to host 3 million persons annually. And if you are able to attain even 50% of that, what is going to happen is you're going to have continuous employment. You're going to have the concession stores built out and operational on a daily basis. So it would lead to more economic rotation taking place. And then you have the further downstream effect of that is that you have an additional 1.5 million persons traversing through the island space. The taxi drivers will benefit, the watercraft tour operators will benefit, the sports enthusiasts, the bird watchers, the hotels. So it speaks back to that whole circular effect of the tourism economy benefiting the majority of the island. So the full operationalization and effective use of that airport has tremendous economic possibilities for the island of Tobago.
Most definitely. Do you see any challenges or concerns with the opening of the new terminal?
At this point in time, I wouldn't say challenges or concerns with the opening of the terminal at all. I think the biggest thing in my mind, is we cannot now have a new terminal and just be business as usual. What we currently have about 3 international flights. You have 1 flight out of Germany, that's a Condor flight. You have 2 flights from British Airways, and you have the 1 JFK flight into Tobago. And that's now during the winter, right? We lose the Condor flight and we lose 1 British Airways flight in the summer. So it can't be business as usual. If there's a concern for me, that would be the authorities and the partners involved in attracting more airlift have to get to work to secure that Airlift. And that's not just me pointing a finger at the government. I'm just saying all the stakeholders involved in securing that airlift have to work now to improve it.
All right. Well, Alpha, thank you so much for joining us this morning and for sharing your thoughts on this topic, and we really appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your day.
You're most welcome. You enjoy your day as well.
All right. Take care. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Alpha Lorde, the president of the Tobago Hotel and Tourism Association. He's also the general manager at the Mount Irvine Bay Resort, giving us some updates about how the association feels regarding the new terminal at the airport, the A&R Robinson Airport in Tobago. And it sounds like all systems are go and everybody's excited for the possibilities, and we look forward to seeing how they play out. We take a quick break.